Hi, it's Kassy with Kassy's Parlor, and today we're going to look at some different Grafix Stencil products. So Grafix makes lots of different materials that you can use to cut your own stencils, and you can see here I've done one with my Cricut Maker 3, and I'm going to walk you through the process. So I'm just going to quickly show you the different stencil materials that I'm going to use today and cut out and show you. The first one is from the Duralar line. It's called Stencil Film. The second one is called Blue Stencil Film. And they come in different sizes and thicknesses, and we'll talk about them as we go. Then we've got Matte Stencil Film. So many great choices. Then these last two, I'm going to cut one of them just to show you, but these really are made for laser cutters. So if you have like a Glowforge or something like that, Grafix has got you covered. They have craft plastic for laser cutting, okay? So if you want to cut stencils or really ephemera, anything out of this nice plastic with your laser cutter, these are the ones to go for, okay? These are 12 by 12 size. And one is blue and one is like a frosty, translucent kind of color, okay? So, and they're different thicknesses too. So those are available as well. I'm going to cut some of these other ones out and show you, and we'll talk about each of them individually. When you're using your die cutting machine, Cricut, whatever machine you're using, Silhouette, anything, you will need to do a test cut first. I will tell you the settings that I use, but I still recommend you using, doing a test cut just to be sure with each of the different materials you use, because like I'm using a Cricut Maker 3 here, and even if you have a Cricut Maker 3 that you're using, sometimes the settings can be a little bit different from machine to machine. So I would definitely recommend doing a test cut, but otherwise you should be good to go. I use the heavy cardstock setting with more pressure, okay? And that works really well. So I've cut one here. I'm just going to release it and show you. This is the most satisfying part. Now, sometimes people pull their material off like this off of a mat, but if you have like little areas that can catch, it can rip your stencil or paper or whatever you're using. So the way that I recommend doing this, I'm just going to put this up here for just a minute so I can show you. I flip my mat over upside down and I just grab a piece of the material that I'm pulling off here, and then I roll the mat off, and this works a lot better. And just take your time and go slow, and especially if you're using something like paper, that tends to you know, want to tear and or curl. So if you take it off the mat with that technique, you won't get the curling and you'll have less opportunity for tearing. So here is the this is actually from, let me get the packaging so you can see here. This is the blue stencil film that I've just cut out of. So you can see it's a kind of a light blue. It's a little bit darker in person than you see on the screen, I think. But here it is. I've cut out a fun stencil, and we're going to use it and make a quick journal page. So I just want to show you each of the different materials. I've also cut a stencil out of the matte stencil film, and that is this one. So it's got like a frosty, translucent kind of look. So depending on if you want the blue or this matte look, it doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference. All right, and I've cut that the same way. And next I'm going to cut out of the stencil film. Okay, so now all of the materials have been cut with the Cricut machine, and I'm going to just show you each of them. They might, some of them, if they're clear, they might be hard to see, but we're going to create a journal page in the mixed media assorted journal from Grafix. It's a disc-bound journal, and this one is the 6x9 size, and it's got all the different materials in it. But we're just going to make one page just so I can kind of play with some of these stencils and show you how they work, and we'll just have some fun with it. So this first one is the stencil film from Duralar. It is, I made 3 words, the same word 3 times, so I could use the negative or the positive because that's fun. But this says create, and it's going to be really hard for you to see it right now, but it does say create. I have 3 of them, and then it's cut out 3 times in here. This material is 0.005 inches thick, and so it's pretty flexible. So you're going to be able to, you know, use it like you would any kind of stencil. You can put paste over it, you can spray through it, you can do all sorts of things. So that is the first one. It's a little bit thinner, but it works really, really well. You could even cut, you know, I cut this with a machine, but like I said before, you could use like a Big Shot or a manual cutting machine if you have dies that you want to cut out and use. You can use this not just for stencils, you could use it to make ephemera pieces. That you want to use like in something and then maybe paint on it or whatever and layer. I mean, there's so many choices and opportunities to use these. So, okay, let me keep going. The blue stencil film is a little bit thicker. Okay, you can hear it and feel it there. Well, you can't feel it, you can hear it. And this is, there are 4 sheets in this pack and it is heavyweight. I would say probably 6 mil, but that's just a guess based on, you know, my my use of stencil material pretty often. And I've cut a different stencil here, you can see, sort of anyway, and it's blue. So that's nice because you can see it when it's on your page. So that's fun. And these come in, I believe this is 9 by 12. I'm not sure though. Okay, and then the next one is, it's a bit thicker. These are 9 by 12. It's thinner. Excuse me, I said thicker, but I meant thinner. It's more like the original clear, but it lays really nicely. I really like the way it lays down. It's got like a frosty finish, and so I think this would be really great for making stencils that you can see where you're putting it again. I like having just that sort of milky look to it. Great to just use also in your project. And then I did cut one of the laser cuttable materials. This is the blue. It is 175 micron, so it's 0.007 inch thick. And I'll just show you kind of how it moves. And it's a decent thickness, and this one I cut some numbers out of, probably a little bit hard to see, but this is blue. I do really like the colors, so it makes it easier to use. But remember, this is made to use with a laser cutter, so if you have a laser machine, there are some choices for you as well. So I'm just going to put these out of the way and just open my journal here, and then we'll just play with them each individually and see how we can use them together. So if you've not used the disc-bound journal from Grafix before, I highly recommend getting one. I really like the assorted one because it gives you a sampling of all the different materials. So let me just quickly tell you what's in here. There's clear Duralar, matte Duralar, wet media Duralar, opaque white Durabrite, and opaque black Durabrite, and then chipboard for the covers, front and back cover. And then this one has 10 discs in it. It also comes in a 6x6 size, so just like a nice square. So anyway, we're just going to use a piece of this to play on. I'm thinking, I don't know, I always tend to use the matte Duralar because it's my most favorite. It's like a frosty kind of film, but we could also maybe play on the white. We've got a few stencils, so maybe we're going to play on 2 pieces of paper. I don't know, or stencil, or I'm sorry, graphics material. Okay. So let's just start, we'll start with the white actually because it's probably going to be easier for you to see it. So we'll just bring in this first piece. This is the stencil that I made from the matte stencil film. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some of the, this is Cobalt Teal from the So Flat Golden line. I'm going to pounce off just so I just have a little bit of paint on my sponge. And then I'm just going to start dabbing it. And the less paint you use when you do this process, the more crisp your image is going to be. Okay, next I'm going to take a little bit of this phthalo green, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to let it overlap a little bit. I'm just putting a fun pattern and some color down on this opaque craft plastic just to give it an interesting look and texture. I like the stencil because it's not too thick. You you can really get the color down and not have to, you know, press deep. Sometimes stencils can be a little too thick and it's harder to get materials through it. So this one is really nice. And it lays down really nice and flat. I think that's my favorite part about this particular stencil materials. It lays really flat, like right away. Okay, so I'm just finishing up here. A little bit of overlap. Okay, I think this is going to be really pretty. I did end up taping it down. It just holds it in place a little bit better. So let me get the tape up here and we'll do the reveal. That's the best part. Okay, here we go. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. So that is the matte stencil film. Definitely awesome. Okay, and then I do have, so from the Duralar stencil film, I have the negative of the create word, but I also have the word create. And I kind of want to use that like going up the side here. And I think, now I can use this as a mask and I can like put some tape on the back, stick it down, and pounce around it. That would be really cool. Or I could even just paint this and then use it on top of here. So you can use it several different ways. It can be a stencil, but it can also just be, like I said before, a piece of ephemera. So I think I kind of want to do that because this is really pretty. So I am going to color this with this beautiful fluorescent pink color. Oh my goodness. And some yellow. I think I'm just going to do both. And I'm just going to like pounce some color here and there. And I'll show you how to use this as a stencil on the other piece with the negative one. But I don't know, I just like to use it as a piece of art too. Okay, and then this yellow is, let's see what the name of it is in case you want to know. It's permanent yellow. Just a really nice, cheerful, bright yellow color. Of course, if they mix together a little bit, you get a fun little bit of like a peachy coral color. That's nice. Okay. So I think this is just another fun way to play. All right, oops, I think I missed a little spot there. There we go. Look at how cute that is. I think this is going to be adorable on here. I'm going to let this dry. Let both of these dry for a minute and set them aside and then clean this up and let's play with the matte Duralar. Okay, next I'm going to use this blue stencil film and the matte Duralar from the Disc Bound Journal. And I'm just going to do part of this. I kind of want, I love this arrow kind of thing going on here. And this stencil material is a little bit thicker. And I think I'm going to try it without taping it down and see how it does. I might have to tape it down, but let's just play and see how we do. And I want it kind of close to the edge. I know it's hard to see where the page is, but you just gotta trust me. So then this time I think I'm going to do the bright pink as the base. Just keep playing with your colors. So if you're, if you want to follow along with me and do this, that's super fun. You can just get whatever paints you have out and whatever stencils and play. If you want to order some of this stencil material, cut your own stencil designs. How fun would that be? You can use, like, obviously I used the Cricut machine. You can use any kind of die cutting machine you have. You could even, if you don't have a die cutting machine, you could just use a craft knife and a self-healing mat and just be careful, draw your design on it and cut it out manually. I mean, that works too, and you'll get a really beautiful organic image. That is also a really fun technique and a great way to use these products if you don't have a cutting machine or if you just, you just want to make something fun and organic. I really like to do that. So here we go. We've got all the pink down here. Looks awesome. I'm so excited. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, I'm excited. That worked really great. You notice I didn't tape that one down. It did stay in place a little bit and didn't lift as much as the other one. But I really think they both have some great qualities. Oh, I'm just really enjoying and admiring that view. So here it is a little closer. You can kind of see my hand underneath. This matte Duralar is kind of dreamy. We're going to put something on the back of it in a minute, and I'm really excited about it. So let's go back to this stencil film, okay, of the Duralar, from the Duralar line, and let's use the Create, the negative. Notice I'm drying this with my heat gun, and the matte Duralar is not warping or anything. It is heat tolerant, so you can definitely emboss with it. You can use your heat gun to you know, dry your material or your paint, mediums, whatever. Let's just make sure this is dry. It looks pretty good to me. With the matte paint and the matte Duralar, it's like, it's just kind of magic. It gets me so fired up. So, okay, we are going to put Create. Now, all of the word doesn't quite fit, but you're going to be able to, you're going to know what it is. And I love that it's repeated 3 times. I'm excited for this page. Yay. Okay, so I think we should do this in the turquoise because, or the teal, excuse me, the cobalt teal. Cobalt teal and fluorescent pink is like one of the best combos ever. Let's see, should I do 3 different colors or all the same color? Oh, I have an idea. Let's do an ombre, okay? So this, again, is the Duralar stencil film. I'm not going to tape it down. Let's see how it performs. Oh my gosh, I just love these colors together. I don't know. Do you love color as much as I do? It like literally gets me excited, you know. I just want to jump up and down. So I'm going to do an ombre thing here. So I'm doing like half of this teal, and then I'm going to do the darker green, that phthalo green for the bottom half. Just for fun, just to be interesting and different, and use all the colors because why not? Okay, I got a little too much of the green there. I got too excited. So let's start down here, get ourselves in a groove. Oh my gosh, these colors are so good. So now let's lift this off. So I didn't tape this down. You can see it stayed down pretty well. It kind of lifted here and there, but overall it stayed down really nicely. It's got a good weight to it, but not too thick. Look at this. Do you love this? Look at that gradation in the middle. I love that it's a little bit messy, and you can still see the whole word Create, but it's kind of cut off at the end, which looks really cool. Oh my gosh, this page is so awesome. Okay, we're coming back to this page now with my Create. Okay, I've got some Posca pens here, and we're coming back to this page. We're going to work on this and let the other one dry for a minute. I've just got a black one. I'm just going to do a little bit of, let's see, do I want black? Yes. I'm just going to do like individuals. I was going to do down the whole line, but I think with the black, I just want some pops of like darker shade of color here, and I want it to be sort of random. I'm just highlighting some of the shapes here. Again, you can see I'm not being really careful or particular. And I think I'm going to do this with a few colors. I'm just starting with the black, trying to be, you know, have a little bit of a balance here. So when I want to stick down something that is sort of an intricate die cut, like this Create, I really love to use artist tack. I'm going to show it to you right now. It is it's a sheet full of tiny little dots that are just beautiful bits of adhesive, and it is, I can never not have it in my studio. It is like the best lifesaver ever, because I'm going to open, it's got 2 protective sheets on either side, and then in the middle you just have, and I've got it backwards here, you just have, you can't see it, but you have to trust me. There are just a bunch of tiny little dots on here of adhesive, and it allows you to put adhesive on the back of somewhat intricate, you know, die cut pieces like this and not have any adhesive, like, you know, gooping in the cracks or being somewhere you don't want it to be. So this gives you a professional look, but still, you know, is really easy to do. And I just use my finger. You could use a burnisher or a, you know, bone folder, whatever you want. You just want to give it a rub, make sure those dots stick to the back of your page, and then you just lift this back up and peel off your die cut piece. So you're just going to peel off your piece, and then the best part is you just keep using this sheet of artist tack until all the dots are gone. So you just keep using it over and over and over again until there's no more sticky left, and then you move on to the next page. Put those protective sheets back together. It's perfect. There's no overlap of adhesive here, and it's just really fantastic. I'm going to put this sideways so I can kind of center this a little bit. Here we go. Let's see. I think that looks pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just kind of wanted to get a gauge there, and then I'm just going to pat it down with my hand. Perfect. Now I am going to outline this with black. I think that's going to help it stand out a lot better. But the thing that I really love about this is that I'll bring it closer to the camera so you can see, but because this was clear and we used a somewhat translucent paint with it, you can see some of the pattern poking through, and it's just so amazing. Oh, I just love it. Okay, there it is. Create. Nice. I really like it. I think I want to add just a little bit of, let's see, my yellow is dried up here. I want to add a little bit of yellow splatter. So I'm going to put some yellow paint here. I'm going to get my water brush, or excuse me, my water bottle and a brush. And I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. And then I'm going to splatter. I do want to cover up my create. I don't want it to get on create, but I want some splatter on this blue just to break up some of that. Okay, this is looking really good. I think I do also want to outline these creates. I think I want to use yellow. Okay, I've outlined it in yellow. I am totally in love with that. Okay, next, finally, actually, we're going to use this laser cuttable blue craft plastic, and we are going to put some numbers on the back of here. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold this down. This is pretty strong material. It's not going to, you know, lift up too much, I don't think. Let's find out. Yeah, this is just going to give us more dimension in the project, and those layers. You know, layers are always great. They want your eye to move all around, and it makes it more interesting. It makes you hang out and look at the piece longer, you know, when you have layers like this. And it's just fun. It's fun and interesting, and it's a great way also to test this stencil material. So that's what we're doing. I really like this. It's very sturdy, very nice. I like the blue color so you can see where you're going a lot easier. Definitely a good stencil material. There we go. I love it. Okay, now let's lift. So good, so good. I think I'm going to use black to outline it. Just going in with my Posca again, and I'm going to outline all the numbers. Okay, woo baby, look at that. This side, I mean, that side is just cool all by itself with the other colors coming through, but then when we flip it over, you can see a little bit more now because we've got that outline, and it just adds that extra dimension. I love this. I love both these pages. So this was just a really fun, quick playing with the pages, so that we can see how the stencil materials work, how they're a little different, how they're similar. I'm just really quick going to go over them one more time so you can remember what we used. We just used the laser cuttable blue craft plastic, really durable, a decent thickness. This comes in this particular one is in 12 by 12 format, but can be cut with your laser printer, so pretty amazing. We use the artist tack to stick down our beautiful ephemera piece. We used the stencil film from Duralar to create the create and also the actual word that we used on top. It's a nice thickness for that if you want to cut shapes out to use on your page. It's not thick, it's not going to be bulky, but also is really nice to use as a stencil as we did here. And it's clear so you can see through where you're going. And I would say it's medium thickness. Okay, so there's that one. And then we have, again, the blue stencil film. This one's a bit thicker. Really great and sturdy. Was nice and easy to use. We used it here for the pink and love this product. Okay, and then also the matte stencil film. I think I love this because it reminds me of the matte Duralar. It's got a similar feel. It's like frosty and milky. It's a bit thinner, but the thing I love the most about this particular stencil film is that it lays perfectly flat. Sometimes you get like a little bit of a bow or a little bit of a bend sometimes depending on the stencil film that is used. This one is always going to lay flat and nice for you and works really, really great. I just recommend taping it down so you get a good, it's nice and sturdy. All right, and then we used the Mixed Media Assorted Journal in 6x9. We just used a couple pieces, the white Durabright and the matte Duralar. And man, I love these pages so much. I hope that you found some inspiration today and enjoyed learning about these stencil films. For more inspiration, please visit graphicarts.com and have a great day. Bye.